Alright guys, welcome to the channel. Right, today we've got the Aspire Nautilus Prime X kit for you. I've got the charcoal black. Right, this is just a sample box here, but basically it's like that, and we do have thumb cutouts. Right, inside the box we do find a USB-C charging cable. Now this does run on a single 18650 battery, but you can do 2 amp charging on the device. Right, also included are 2 pods for you. One is a BP pod, as you can see written on the side there. The other one is the Nautilus pod. Right, so this one takes your Nautilus cores, Nautilus 2S cores, and the ones that fit the Nautilus GT and GT Mini, basically the BVC cores by Aspire. The BP pod takes the BP cores, and then it also takes the RBA section, which I already have. We'll have a quick look at that in a minute. Right, is the BP core then, so we get one of these included and one of the Nautilus cores. Now I do find it rather hard to read on camera, but I will tell you the specs in a minute. But basically make sure you've primed up all of the cotton with the e-liquid. Quick look inside there, so we have got a bit of a mesh situation going on. So prime it up with e-liquid before you put it on, and we have got an O-ring around the bottom. Here we go then. So the Nautilus cores, we've got 2mm capacity pod, and the BP cores is 2mm as well. And you can't take the bung out. You probably might be able to if you use brute force and ignorance, but I don't recommend doing it. So there we go, single 18650. We've got output modes, auto, wattage, voltage, bypass, wattage range of 1 to 60 watts, voltage range of 0.5 to 8.4 volts. But we do have these safety features here. If you do want to pause it and read it, I'll just show you the Nautilus one for the time being. It says peel off, so we're going to peel that one off first. So pull that out like so, and there we go, that's the inside of it. Now there is a particular way around this goes. There's a couple of flat edges on here, and they marry up with the flat sides on here, so when you're plugging it in, you need to get that correct. So like I say, it's held on by, this one's actually got 2 O-rings. This is the Nautilus 2S core, or the BVC core. So like I say, prime up your cotton in there, and quick look inside there, we've got a mesh situation. I think this is the 0.7 one, but you can get a range of cores with Smart, the BVC range. So you primed up your cord. If you want to change the core, you just unscrew it. This is the Nautilus pod, so just unscrew it like that and put your fresh coil in. On the side here you get your little flip tap here. It's not too bad actually, but when your hands are a bit juicy, it's a little bit fiddly. So just pull that back, get your needle tip bottle, because it will work better with needle tip bottles rather than like your big tip bottles. Fill it up, and then just make sure you've plugged that back in and give it a wipe round to get rid of any excess juice. Right, 510 fitting drip tip in here, so aftermarket 510s should work. That's what am I trying to say? It's serrated sort of edges to give you a little bit more grip. So when you put it actually in your device, which we got here, there's your contacts there, and all your bits and bobs going on inside there. When you get it in, obviously you need to look at the shape of it. So this is the curved bit, and this goes around here. So just plug that in just like that, and that's what we look like. And when you want to take it out, you just grip hold of that and pull it. Right, I'm just going to use the actual BP mods one though, because I've been using this, so it's actually got juiced up core. But basically it's a similar situation going on here. So get your BP core, this is the 0.301, which we've already shown you. And this one will just plug in there, just like that. And you do exactly the same on this one, flip tab and fill it up. But I've actually got the RBA here, which you can buy as a separate purchase, the BP60 RBA. And basically this piece comes off, and there is a special adapter for putting it on the device. But try and open this up, just show you the little build that we've got in here. So there we go, we got a little, I think, is that just a round wire build? I think it might be actually. But yeah, I've got a 0.6 ohm sort of build in here. So we're going to do that one up, get that bit nice and tight. But like I say, there is a little 510 adapter, so you can put it on a normal mod and actually build it using that. And then you put this piece on afterwards. So if you want to use it in RBA mode, you can get yourself the BP60 RBA. But I do believe there could be a what's it called, a RDTA pod coming with this, but I haven't actually got one. They didn't supply it with the review. So we're just going to use this one for the review. I've used the BP coils and the Nautilus coils because I do own the Nautilus GT and GT Mini, and I also own the Phoenix kit, which use the same coils. So I know all about the coils already. Right, look around this mod then. So we've got leatherette or something on here. We've got Aspire written on the side here, like etched into it. We've got, I don't know if that's faux stitching, I think it is. And then we got Nautilus Prime X etched into the faux leather as well. But it does look pretty snazzy, this one. There's your fire button there. There's your up and down buttons. And on the side we do have adjustable airflow. So we'll just take that out and I'll just show you that. In this position here we've got the airflow basically fully closed, but you can just try and do it on cam. If you move it around you can just see the AFC spinning there, and then we get some markers here. That's on the widest position, so that's more of an airy direct to lung vape. If you want a sort of mouth to lung style vape, put it around this end of the spectrum. What else can we show you on here? Here's the screen, nice big screen on this one. There's a USB-C port if you do wish to charge it on a device. I always recommend charging 18650s or external batteries on a external battery charger. Right, so here's the battery port. We've got the usual sort of markings, so just push it like that. We do have some battery venting holes there. Nice battery door on this. No marker on this side, but if you look down this centre, you just see there the red positive icon. So get your battery. I've just got a Samsung 20S here, just one that I've got charged up. Push it down and then back, just like that. And we've got the Aspire logo. It does come on. Talk about the menu system and the screen. There's your battery marker. There's your battery percentage. That's whether you've got the device locked or unlocked. There's the mode you're in. There's your wattage, and then we've got voltage, resistance and amperage, and there's your puff counter. As with the Phoenix and the VROD, the display is a lovely big display for your wattage, but when it comes to the other icons, they're a little bit small in my opinion. But anyway, let's go up and down on the wattage, just see what the scroll's like. So we go up in ones, but it does go up in 0.5s if you just do it separately. Up to 60 watts, and then we round robin back to 1 watt. So I'm just going to leave this somewhere more sensible, about 15 watts. And right, 3 clicks will lock it. So just keep your eye on that symbol there. And there you see. So, right, so if you got it like that, you can still fire it, but your up and down keys won't do anything. So 1, 2, 3 will unlock that symbol. Right, to get into the main mode with this, press your up and down buttons together. Right, there you go, and then you get onto your modes here. So then you can just go up and down. If you want to change your brightness, go onto there and then press your fire button, and then just go up and down on the brightness. I'll just leave it fully bright, to be honest. Press your fire button again, and then up and down. You can do it with one thumb. Here you go, onto your colours, and then you've got blue, green, orange, red and purple. So put it onto purple mode, press your fire button, and you've got a nice purpley screen. So you get like a matching purple drip tip if you wanted something like that. Right, up and down again. Into the mode, press your fire button. We have auto. If you put it in auto, it will auto detect the cord and put it at the resistance, the wattage it thinks it should be at. I'm not a fan of that. I just like to put it in wattage myself. But there you can just press fire to select wattage, V to select voltage. So go into voltage, just have a look how the scroll is on that. All the way to 8.5, back to 0.5 on the round robin. Up and down, back into mode, and bypass. Basically with bypass mode, that uses the voltage left in your battery. So at the moment it's saying I've got 4 volts left in it. But anyway, lots to mess around with there. So up and down again. Put it back into wattage because that's what I like to vape like. So to turn it off, 5 clicks. And it's also 5 clicks to turn it on, and then it goes off just like that. So let's go back up top now and I'll tell you what I think about the Nautilus Prime X kit. What's up guys, we are up top and we have the Nautilus Prime X by Aspire that was kindly supplied by UK Aspire vendor, so cheers Dave for that. Right, what do I think of this particular little kit thing we've got here then? Well, to be honest, I've rather been enjoying this one. I think it looks great. I just love this charcoal black we've got here. So we've got Nautilus Prime X on there and we've got the Aspire logo, but it's all it's subliminal. It's not in a different color or anything, so it just looks nice and complements the mod. I like the faux leather. It's nice and comfortable. A little bit of padding in there as well. It feels comfortable in hand, nice and lightweight this one. It uses an 18650 battery, so of course do your homework. Make sure you use a high amp, high drain, 20 amp continuous discharge rated battery such as a Samsung 30Q Monicel P26A, I think they are, Sony VCT5A or a Sony VCT6, something like that. I always charge my batteries on an external battery mod. I think it's safer. That's what Battery Mooch recommends to do. But this one has got a USB-C charging on it, and I do believe it was 2 amp charging, quick charging. So if you want to, if it's like an emergency or whatever, you can charge it on the device. But I don't recommend doing so unless you really have to. Anyway, what do we think about this? Fit and finish and build quality, really well put together. I just, like I say, it's no rough edges. The paint works really nice on here. We got a nice screen on here as well. It's not mega bright, but I've had no issues at all. But then again, I haven't been out in sunlight. As I've mentioned in my Phoenix and Rod videos, some of the display is hard to read because it's so small, but the main wattage you can see. But it depends what your eyesight's like really, but really clear 0.96 inch OLED display, so that is really good. Happy you can change the colours as well if you wanted to put your own drip tip on there for matchy, or if you've got a coloured tank, always looks good. Right, the battery door. How do you open it this way round? No issues with it. Like I say, I've only had it a week or so, so I can't say how long that's going to last, but it seems to be, once it's in there, it's in there. Got no battery rattle or anything, so I don't think we're going to have any problems with that battery door. But I don't know. I haven't had it for a month or 6 months. Who knows what it'll be like in that amount of time. But it's always good to see battery venting on the bottom. Right, as for the pods, you can see how much juice if you look this way round, which is good. The AFC lever thing works very well. There's quite a bit of resistance there, but you just get your nail and push it backwards and forwards, no problems at all. But it's awesome that we've got adjustable airflow on a pod, so that one gets a huge pro from me. Right, getting the pod out, there's no like push buttons or anything like that. It is a case of just grabbing hold of it and pulling it. Now, I don't find that hard, but someone who's got dexterity issues may find that a little bit tricky, because you can't just go like that. You've got to give it a bit of a tug. So yeah, like I say, if you've got arthritis or anything like that, this one might not be for you, but for people with strong hands, everyday folk that don't have any issues, you probably won't have a problem with it. But I thought I'd just point it out, because something like the Cloud Flask, where is it? This one here, I haven't reviewed it yet, but we've got 2 buttons that you press and the pod just pops out. So this one I would recommend for someone with dexterity issues, but not necessarily this one. But anyway, that's not taken away from anything, because it means it's in there properly. It's not going to fly out on you, the pod, or anything like that. Yeah, so airflow control works really well, and buttons work really well. We've got a bit of a click going on, so no problems with that. It's great that you can turn it off, you can lock the screen, and we've got the different modes to put it in different colours and all of the rest of it. So really good chip in here. I've recently reviewed the Phoenix kits and the Rod 200. They're using a similar board to this, I do believe, because the menu system seems to be very similar. And as for the Phoenix kit, this particular pod, the BP one, they're the same cores that the Phoenix takes, and I've already reviewed that, and I really did like the cores on it. But for this review, I've actually put the RBA coil in there. I'm not going to take it out because it's full of juice. But yeah, if you want to check out my Phoenix kit for the BP cores, then do so. But we've put in the RBA core, which you can buy as a separate purchase, the BP 60 it says on here, the RBA for the Phoenix or the Nautilus Prime X. Now, I do believe there is a RDTA pod that is available for a separate purchase, but I haven't been sent that, so I can't say, but I can tell you what I think of the RBA section, and we'll give it a puff now. Now, I've got the airflow set in just under half. We've got the wattage, what should we put it at? 24 watts. And it's coming out at a 0.55 ohm. Works really well. I love this airflow control on there. Let's put it wide open. All right, even wide open with that particular coil I've got in here, the RBA. Bit of restriction. I wouldn't give that no more than a 6.5 out of 10. For 10 being a super wide air vape, 1 being like a super tight mouth to lung. So yeah, bit of restriction there anyway. But like I say, I like to rock it around about halfway with this particular one, like 0.6, 0.55 ohm. That was a little bit too high, so I'm going to put it down to 22. But really smooth airflow with this. We'll put the Nautilus pod in a minute, but as for the BP cores, they're awesome. You can get all sorts of varieties. I think it comes with a 0.3 ohm one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it was a 0.3 ohm one, and it's a cracking cool, great flavour. But this RBA section, I've just got a simple round wire beard in there, and it gives me really good flavour as well. In fact, it seems to give me better flavour in here than it did in the Phoenix. But yeah, really been enjoying that RBA section in the BP pod. Right, let's put the Nautilus one in now, which takes the Nautilus 2S cores or the Nautilus GT BVC type cores. Now, the one that comes pre-included with the kit is a 0.7 ohm mesh one. Now, I prefer using the 1.8 ohm core for my Nautilus GT Mini, but for the purpose of the review, we're leaving the 0.7 ohm mesh one in here. And we've got some 6 milligram tobacco, drum tobacco from Best Sig Liquid in here, and we're going to knock that airflow right down. Incidentally, if you put it right the way to the other side like that, it literally does block the airflow off. But if you want a nice very tight mouth to lung, just knock it off slightly. It's a little bit too tight for me. Like I say, it's good that you can just experiment with that airflow to get your required vape. Let's try that. Put the wattage down to about 17. That's literally proper tight mouth on. This airflow control works really well. It's a bit better. Let's try that. So that's what we're looking like. Just about a couple of mil. And it's pretty decent flavour. To be honest, I prefer the 1.8 ohm cores you get with the Nautilus BVC cores. It's a shame they didn't include one of those in there, because you get a proper nice restrictive mouth-to-lung vape. Now that 0.7 ohm core is a little bit too wide for doing mouth-to-lung. So in theory, they're both like restrictive direct-to-lung, the two cores that come with this, both for the BP mod and the Nautilus one. Right, as for the pods, you may encounter a little bit of leaking around here, around the bottom, and that you just need to give it a little bit of a wipe. It's not too bad, but I always find it with these pod style mods, they all tend to seep a little bit. It might be condensation, there might be a little bit of e-liquid there, but it's not drastic. But I just thought I better point that one out. But all in all, this one, I think it's great. It goes up to 60 watts, which is good. So you could put a lower ohm cord in there if you can fit it in like the deck. The RDTA section, I'd be really interested to try that one, because probably you could put a lower ohm cord and utilise the fact that this can go up to 60 watts. But for me, I've only gone up to about 25, 27 watts with the particular cores that I've been using. But great little all-in-one device that takes a single 18650 battery, this one. Yeah, it gets a thumbs up from me. I've really been enjoying it. Right, so they're coming out at £44.99, so that's not actually a bad price for what you get with this particular kit, so I think that's really good. And if you want to use UK Aspire Vendor, you can use a little discount that's been given to me for my subscribers, which is MF15, I do believe, if you want to go and check it out. But all in all, with this kit, I just think it looks stunning. It works very well. The AFC I'm particularly a fan of. We've got 510 tips on there as well, so you can put your own ones on. Battery life is pretty good if you're running it around 10 to 25 watts. If you're going to be running at 60 watts, if you do manage to put a low end build in it, obviously the battery life isn't going to be as good, but at 15, 20 watts, you're going to get most of the day, if not more, out of it. So yeah, all in all, this one gets a huge thumbs up from me, and very happy with it. So big thanks to Dave at UK Aspire Vendor for sending over for review. It's very much appreciated, sir. Right, thanks for watching, guys. If you could hit the thumbs up icon, that'd be great. Helps with the analytics of the channel. Got my own website, it's mfvape.co.uk, and I've got social media too if you want to check out my links down below the video. So I hope you're all staying safe, and until the next time, guys, I would say cheers.